All right, we're going to go on to our first speaker of the evening. She is working on her presentation mastery path. And tonight she's going to chair and moderate a panel discussion, which is a level 5 elective. Have you ever considered district leadership in Toastmasters, but just didn't know what to do? If it's right for you or what's involved? Our speaker today will moderate a panel discussion with 3 panelists who are in district leadership. They will share the pros and the cons of their leadership positions. Our speaker is hoping that members in this club will decide to become a district leader in some capacity this year. So she has ulterior motives. Please welcome Cynthia Lanham with Is District Leadership Right for You?
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters. This speech will be a lot different because I'm actually more of a moderator. But what you'll find out today is we are going to eradicate any false impressions you have about district leadership. We have some people who have been in leadership, are professionals, and they're going to share with you. That way you'll know if it's right for you. But we're going to do something a little different. I would like everybody except those who are on the panel to please stop your video. So that way all you'll be able to see is the panelists. Now the timer will start their video at 15 minutes so that we can see them and we'll know when it's been 15 minutes. It'll let us know. The green light will come on at 15 minutes and then we'll be able to wrap up and give each 3 speakers a time to say any last final thoughts. All right, are you panelists? Are you ready? Give me the thumbs up sign if you're ready. All right, first, I would like you each to introduce yourself and tell us what roles you have either had in the past, currently hold in district leadership, and while you're doing that, how much time it required you to do that activity. So let's start with over here, Arlene, and then we'll go to Steve and then Rick.
Thank you, Cynthia. My first role in district leadership was that of division director, which was rather interesting because most people go from the club, then to the area, then to the division. But I just skipped all the way up. I just skipped the whole section there. How much time did it take? Way more than I thought it was going to. On top of that, the district didn't just get me, but they got my hubby too. So we came as a team. So the 2 of us had a lot involved. After the division director, I came back as web mistress. Now, usually you would not think about this as a leadership role, but considering the state in which the website was, it really did require some just take the bull by the horns and just make that puppy sing. And in this role, you have to communicate with those who are above you, as well as those who are kind of beneath you, and kind of make sure that all the communication stuff works. So 2 very different leadership roles, both involving a fair amount of time, but who's counting when it's fun?
Thank you very much, Arlene. Steve?
Yes, I'm Steve Lanham. I'm currently serving my 2nd year as Public Relations Manager for District 40. I've also served as Administration Manager and Division Director for 2 years, and Area Director, and a variety of other more informal type of roles like a conference chair, district conference chair, club extension chair, and things like that. The time commitment for these roles varies from role to role. Now, in my current role as Public Relations Manager, I would estimate I probably put in anywhere from 8 to 10 hours a week for this role. And that's because we do a lot of putting out of information, and we have a smaller team than we probably should have.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Positions I've held in district leadership are Area 43, Area Governor, now the Area Director, Division E, division governor, which is now division director. I did that about 10 years ago, and I was followed up by a curious man that just took it over. Steve took over after me. You mentioned the amount of time it takes. It really depends on the position. The area governor and the division governor and area governor, to me, took about the same amount. You have to spend a lot of time going and visiting clubs. And that is difficult for some people that have a job, which I did have a job then, because some of the clubs meet during the day. You have to take a day off. So you have to factor all those kinds of things in. But as part of a club, I've been a president 8 terms, I think, in the time since I've been here, which is considered part of the district council. So that is part of it as well. And being a president probably takes up 3 or 4 hours a week. So, back to you.
Thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate all of your comments. The next question is to Steve. Why did you get into district leadership?
2 words, Rick Seabury. No, I was a member of the EKU Toastmasters, and Rick Seabury was our area director, and he was wanting to pass the torch. And so he asked me, and I said, no, I'm not interested. But then I got to thinking about it. Like, well, he did ask me, maybe he thinks I can do it. So I guess I will. So the question is, why did I continue? I found out that I really enjoyed it, and I was actually fairly good at it. I enjoyed getting to know other people in other clubs and helping them to grow as leaders too. So district leadership for me has not only been an opportunity to improve myself, but to give back to the district also.
Thank you so much, Steve. The next question is for Arlene. What strengths would be a good match for which office?
Leadership has basic fundamental strengths that are good no matter what you're doing. Of course, if you're going to be the treasurer, you're going to need to have some basic accounting skills. But really, honestly, for most of what I see, as long as you have basic organizational skills, basic communication skills, basic computer skills, because email is a lot of the way we communicate these days, and just a desire to be with people and be happy with people and enjoy other people's successes that you're able to facilitate, I think you're going to like it, and I think you're going to be good at it.
Thank you so much for that, Arlene. The next question is for Rick. What are some challenges you either have had in the past or have now in your district leadership position?
One of the most difficult things that I had while I was in district leadership proper, the area governor or division governor, is dealing with clubs that, for lack of a better term, just don't want to do anything. They are in stasis. They want to stay in stasis. And we can't do that in Toastmasters. We have to keep replenishing people. So dealing with the leadership of the clubs that are stuck in position and trying to get those people to move, to me, is the most difficult part of district leadership.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Rick. I appreciate it. The next question is for Steve. Describe all the district leadership positions and how would one go about to get into them?
Okay, let me say first, to get in a district leadership position, just volunteer. If you think, well, maybe I can't do that or I don't know what to do, that's okay. We'll train you on what you need to do. Another good way to get in district leadership, and I firmly believe this and practiced this when I was division governor, is serve as an assistant to the area director or the division director or to whomever you want to follow. and also serve when asked. That's what happened to me. Somebody asked me. So there's a variety of roles. The first rung of the district leadership ladder is area director. An area director is responsible for 4 or so clubs, and their role is to just encourage and advise club officers, and also to make sure we have the club of the area contest, speech contest each year. The division directors, they're a level up from the area directors, and their job is to encourage and advise the area directors and make sure that we have the division contest and the division club officer training events that go to the divisions. After that, you have what's called the top 8. And these are people that are at the district level over everything. One is informal. You don't get formal credit for this one, but that's a logistic manager. And this person is responsible for the physical equipment and inventory of the district, like mics and projectors and things like that, and also is over the district store, which has items that the district buys to resell at face value to members of the district. After that, you have the finance manager that's in charge of the budget and offers financial advice to the rest of the top 8. You have the administration manager who's responsible for maintaining the documentation and meeting minutes of the big meetings that happen in the district. You have the public relations manager, which is me, which is responsible for outward facing public relations and inward sharing of information with our members. And the way it's set up right now, the public relations manager is also responsible for the technology / website part of the district and the Zoom administration for our online meetings. There's next up the chain is the club growth director, and that person is responsible for membership building, membership retention, and making sure that we keep the clubs that we have and add new clubs. And part of that is making sure that we assign coaches, mentors, and sponsors to clubs as necessary. After that, we have the program quality director, who's responsible for all things related to education and training in the district, and also responsible for making sure that the district conference plays out. And after that, we have the head honcho in the district, and that's the district director, and they're responsible for making sure that all the rest of the top 8, the division directors, do their jobs, and they serve as the face and the CEO of the district. Those are all the roles, Cynthia.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. And if somebody thought something was interesting but didn't think you might have the skill yet, you could also be an assistant, couldn't you, Steve?
Exactly. So, and that's what I would recommend. You know, Toastmasters preaches a lot about succession training, and I would encourage anybody that's in a role like mine to have assistants. And right now with the online world, it's been difficult to do that. But when I was division director, that saved us, because that got people in with where the decisions were being made and where the actions that needed to happen were happening. And once they saw it happening on an assistant level, they were ready to step up to take on the role.
Thank you, Steve. Arlene, do any of these positions require travel? And if somebody is interested, where can they find more information about these positions?
Cynthia, these days with online meetings, just about everything can be accomplished online. Now, before there was Zoom and virus and things like that, yes, we did do some traveling. There are clubs in London, Kentucky that have to be serviced. There were clubs in Winchester, Kentucky that had to be serviced. And occasionally the district will hold what's called the district executive committee meetings, which is where all the officers get together for a big powwow and a little partying too. And those are generally held somewhere in the middle part of the district, so everybody drives about the same amount of time. The travel that's involved is not a lot. They're always on good interstates, and it's really not a burden. Now, if it's something that you think you're interested in, I would like to recommend 2 things. First is that D40 website. You know I'm a champion for the D40 website. There is a lot of information on there. Second, go to Steve as PRM, he pretty much knows everybody. And if you've got a question about anything, go to Steve and ask, who can I talk to? And I guarantee you, he can put you with the right person. Then call that person, interview them. Maybe start now to be their assistant, because the Toastmaster year doesn't start until July. So you've got between now and July to perhaps scope out several different offices that you might be interested in, so that you can pick one that you're interested in after having talked to people and perhaps been to a couple of the meetings and figure out what they do. So I think that hands-on approach is best, so that you can find a right fit for you. And then the last thing I want to say is this: there are no bad choices. You might be just, what should I do? What should I do? You make a choice. Oh, I think I made the wrong choice. Well, guess what? All you got to do is say, you know, I would rather change. And just about magically, you can make a change into any other role you want. So don't get so far bogged down with having to make that one right choice that you don't make any choice. Start now, go to the website, contact Steve, reach out to the person who's doing it now, follow them a little bit, try on 2 or 3 or 4, make a choice knowing that if you decide later it's not what you want, you can always make a change.
Thank you, Arlen. I do see the timer, but I do want to ask one more question before you give your final thoughts. We'll go ahead and go to Rick, and then if anybody else wants to answer, also follow up with what Rick said. Rick, if anybody in the club is interested, but they're still nervous about it, will they get a mentor or any kind of training in this job, or do you just expect to know it all as soon as you come in?
Well, thank you, Cynthia. There is training. At the TLIs that we have every 6 months, there's generally some kind of breakout session that talks about the different jobs. The mentors you can have can be in the club. They can also be in the area director. They can also be the division director. You have to reach out and ask people, but you really have to be confident in your abilities and not be afraid to make mistakes. There is nothing you can do as area governor, or excuse me, area director or division director that are going to cause all the clubs to shut down. It's going to be fine. We've all learned as we've gone along. When I did this 10 years ago, the level of professionalism in the Division E was kind of low. And it started bumping up when Steve got a hold of it, and now it's incredible. So it's a good place to get in. Talk to people that are in the position, or talk to people that have had the position. And you can get informal training, you can get formal training, you can get mentors if you wish.
Thank you, Rick. Does anybody have anything you want to add to Rick about training? I do know there's webinars, we do district conversations, there's all things going on. Arlen?
I would just like to say that because you are a member of Midway Toastmasters, you are already head and shoulders above most members, because there is so much that we do that is right here at Midway. You've already got experience. Because you've learned so much here at Midway, you already know a lot more than the average Toastmaster. So let me just start by saying you, as a member of Midway, are already probably 30 to 40% ahead of anybody else out there in any other club.
Thank you, Arlen.
I want to eradicate any fear that you might.
Great. Now, I know I'll go over time, but I still want to leave my panelists just a few minutes to give your last thoughts. What would you like to leave us with? And we're going to start with Steve.
Okay, I have 3 things I want to mention. First of all, most people don't feel qualified when they say, I want to be an area director, a division director, or public relations manager. That's okay. We can train you. District leadership, second thing, is a growth opportunity. If you're like me, you're going to make mistakes, but that's okay, because those mistakes didn't affect my job status or my salary. It did hurt my ego sometimes, but I can get over that. And the third thing, I found this to be true not only at the district level, but in general. Willingness is more important than ability in many cases in serving in Toastmasters leadership. Now, we can train you to do what needs to be done, give you the ability. We can't train willingness, so that's what we want. So hopefully the enthusiasm and success that you've seen on this panel and in district leadership will rub off and you'll take a position.
Thank you, Steve. Rick, your final thoughts?
I want to mirror off what Steve said. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It is a learning job. And if you're wanting to add things to your professional resume, this kind of stuff is so valuable for that because it gives you hands-on experience in an environment where you can fail. And you won't fail in the position because you've got a lot of people standing around you helping you. So if you desire that to get in the district leadership, start off small, start off with the area director. And don't be bashful, ask for help. Back to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Rick. And Arlen.
I'm going to counteract everything that Rick just said. Go big, go bold, reach out and stretch a little bit. Do something fun and interesting that you've never had the opportunity to do before. This is a place where you can really stretch yourself and it's a safe place.
Thank you so much. Thank you, panelists, for coming to share with us. Please, you can turn your videos back on and it's back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia.